Motor Speedway. They're lean. They're mean. They're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for a little week 1 action in Sarverville, PA, excuse me, at the Lernerville Speedway. You see, we got a little wall here, but when we go down that backstretch and when you roll through turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4, no help upstairs, you got to do it all alone here tonight. We're going to see guys go up over the edge. It is going to be a wild showdown here at the Lernerville Speedway tonight. Now, something different, you know, we've done it in the past a couple times here for Hometown Heroes, but we're not going to stick at the same racetrack all season. We will roll into different racetracks next week. We're going into I-55, I believe. Double check that. Yeah, I-55. And then the following Wednesday, 2 weeks out, we're going to roll into Weedsport. So not too sure if then, you know, maybe we'll pick one we like out of those or if we're going to just keep rolling through. But another difference you see, these are the 305 sprint cars. And well, they're brought to you by none other than A&J Custom Creations. Andy over there at A&J Custom Creations, he picked up the midget broadcast we were running here last season in this time slot, but drivers saying they want more sprint cars. They wanted to go back to the 305s, and right now we have 14 guys who have put in a lap. The high side banger Patrick Spangler is in the room. Not sure if he's going to race or not. And, well, I just realized, too, I'll turn up my desktop sounds a little bit here, because these 305s, they're not the loudest car, that's for sure. They not going to have the speed that we'll see later in the 360s or the 410s. And Brad Waite, one of the drivers there, playing with the track limits, goes over the edge in 3 and 4, pulls it in the pits. And you got a good view of some of your drivers here tonight. You got the 817 of Shane Billings, the 79 of Dean Reynolds, the 814 of Brad Waite, the 5 of Devo, Donovan Ross. You got $100,000 in there, Joseph Grandy in the 518. And then that's Blake Chapman. You're all familiar with that paint job there in the 20. Blake Chapman. Can't say for sure, but I know he has won 305 championships in this league, and wouldn't be surprised if he was the defending 305 champion here. But we won't put that on him yet. You know, we won't apply that kind of pressure. We'll see, though, if Patrick Spangler qualifies, we will apply pressure. The driver of the 39 would like to see him come out and play here this evening. You know the drill. When Brandon Templeton's in the race, he's the first guy out there for qualifying. Said it a million times already, and as long as I call a million more races here, you'll hear it a million more times. Oh, but Brandon Templeton, not very often he does that. Goes over the edge here. Let's find the next furthest guy up the road. I think it may have been Brad Waite, possibly. And no, actually Andy Patton there. Yeah, he's a little further up the general. Let's see what he can do as lap number 1 comes to a close. The general in the 87. He's quick time for now with a 13.97. Plenty of drivers still going to put their times in. And this guy, one of them, quick time, Devo, Donovan Ross in the 5. See Anthony Morano creep up there into P2. Devo, second time around, not going to find any speed, slower at a 14.17, but Devo currently quick time. Let's try and find a guy that maybe, just maybe has the chance. We'll have to see. Blake Chapman rolling that high side, and well, as much, let's see here. I'll crank up that desktop volume to 100 for you guys, but if it gets too loud, somebody chime in, let me know. But Blake Chapman came around, he's P4, and that's going to be all of our qualifiers here. Shame on me, the high side banger is out here. Patrick Spangler, P3, the high side banger doing what he does best, banging down that high side. What can he do here? Rolls the bottom through 3 and 4. Not going to have enough time. Patrick Spangler only going to get the 1 lap in. But we are going to have 15 drivers here at the Lernerville Speedway. And we're going to have 2 heat races, 8 in this one, 7 in the other. Let's take a look at the starting grid here. Heat race number 1. Row 4 to the outside, the 531 of Armando Melgoza lining up to the inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row 3 to the outside, the 814 of Brad Waite to the inside, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr. Row 2 to the top shelf in the 05, your quick time, Devo, Donovan Ross. To the inside, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Row 1 for heat race number 1 here at the Lernerville Speedway. To the outside, the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman. And starting on the pole, the 518 of $100,000, Joseph Grandy. And while we're waiting for Patrick Spangler, possibly Blake Chapman here too, and while we're waiting on me to fix this overlay as well, we're gonna shape this up. But I imagine Patrick Spangler and Blake Chapman maybe going to play a little game here. They started playing it on Monday night. They've been having so much success in the sprint cars. They've been starting at the back of the field. And you see those two guys, now you see what I see. They have dashes beside their name. And I have a feeling Patrick Spangler and Blake Chapman maybe even going to come out of the pits. Who knows? Or they might just take off the heat races. But they're definitely going to do something a little different. And, well, I assure you, you know, we are live. We're getting ready to go. But we're just, you know, waiting on that grid time. And let me see here. It's counting the actual session time now. Yeah, so they're going to have them drive. There we go. So Joseph Grandy going to lead row number 1 here. To the drop of the green flag in the 518. To the outside, the 05 of Devo Donovan Ross. Well, now they threw a caution flag here, I think. Maybe extending it? Confused. Maybe if they extend it, they'll be able to get Patrick and Blake out on the racetrack, but I don't know if that's a guarantee. So we'll see. I think that's the angle that they're pushing for here. We're going to go green this time by. Patrick Spangler says he's 1 lap down. I think that's because he gridded and then went off the grid. Blake Chapman never touched the grid, so that's going to be the difference there. As we roll the bottom through 3 and 4, we'll see the green flag high. It's ready to fly. There's 6 laps to play here at the Lernerville Speedway. Joseph Grandy hooking up on the inside, but Devo got all the steam upstairs, and he powers that top shelf. Devo to the lead, his 100 grid goes up and over, and that's the first victim here at the Lernerville Speedway. Somebody keep count, we've got 1. Joseph Grandy back all by himself. Armando Melgoza, now he's got to try to reel these guys in. Armando, you know, I don't mean to throw him under the bus here, and this is a good way. I'm privy to a chat, and he was like, guys, I'm not sure if I'm going to be back. Or this may have even been Facebook. You know, I'm not as good as you guys. Well, Armando, look at him. You know, keeping up with these guys. He's done amazing, and that's what we love about this league, man. Anybody who wants to learn, this is the place to do it. Yeah, there are always bumps in the road. There isn't anything you do, and you see Armando over there. I gave him the commentator's curse. He goes up and over. But this is how you learn, running out here with all these guys. That's how you know, keep at it. And you learn, you improve, and with the white flag in the air, Armando definitely showing a lot of improvement over what we've seen in the past. And final time through 3 and 4, Devo sees the checkered flag displayed. He takes on heat race number 1, followed by Brian Moore Sr., Brad Wade, Terry Landis, Armando Melgoza, 100 grand, Spangler, and Chapman. As we get ready to take a look here at that final grid here, or the starting grid for the final heat of our A&J Custom Creations 305 sprint cars inside of row 4 in the 051 Putt Clay Christopherson. Row 3 to the outside in the 79 Dino Dean Reynolds. To the inside, the 817 is Shane Billings. Row 2 to the outside, the 32 of the Ant-Man Anthony Morano. To the inside, the General in the 87 Andy Patton. Row 1 for heat race number 2 to the outside, the 31 of B-Temp Brandon Templeton. And starting on the pole, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Yeah, Monday night I got so lucky in the dirt races there. I didn't have to unstack that overlay. It instead said, well, I don't even want to bring it up. Hopefully it doesn't happen again because it was a little scary. But now I've had to do it twice here tonight. But the guys, they're being nice to me. They're going around that extra lap, so it gives me plenty of time. Fix them on both ends, and that I do appreciate. My apologies. My father called me. I always worry about an emergency. Told him what I was doing. Everything's fine. And we're getting ready to go racing here. Heat race number 2. 6 laps to play. This will set the outside road for the starting. For the feature here is Dino. Oh, man, he almost got aggressive there. Thought about taking a peek in the middle. Dino takes advantage of that outside starting spot. Goes from 6th to 4th here in the early going. Not going to need a B main here in the 305s. Everybody making the show, but like I say, every spot here, one row further here when we get ready to go play in the feature. And Anthony Morano, oh man, he is flirting upstairs. Not a lot of room between that 32 and that outside cushion. Anthony Morano, oh, he almost jumps it. Let's see what we have through 4. There's Randy Shreves. He takes a peek down low, but just can't get the run off the corner. And Dino licking his lips, man. Like he's just waiting on those ribs. And Dino goes to the outside, tries ripping it, but just not having the power in these 305s. I know you want to keep the momentum up, but it's almost that middle line where there's still tack. You see Randy kind of pulling away. And, well, B-Temp's working it to almost perfection here in the lead. Slips up a little bit on exit, but with the white flag in the air, Brandon Templeton putting on a show. Rides the outside on entry in 1. Enters a little lower there in the middle in 3 and 4, and Brandon Templeton sees the checkered flag, and he wins heat race number 2. Followed by Anthony Morano, Randy Shreves, Dean Reynolds, Clay Christopherson, Andy Patton, and Shane Billings. And with that, you know what? Yeah, no, we'll take the break here, and the 360s, there might be a lot more, so we'll probably skip that commercial break there in the 360s. And I like keeping it there during warm-ups. But we'll step away here, run the commercials like I'm supposed to, and we'll be right back. Stick around. With you, I had to cut the commercial short. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't enjoy this all by myself. Blake Chapman and Dino. Oh man, I guess Dean Reynolds' man finally went over. He did. Ah, dang it! Commentator's curse. I brought it back. Him and Joseph Grandy, they were racing so hard. That was so much fun to watch here. It is going to be a racy track here at the Lernerville Speedway in these 305s. Now, you know, not as much power, so we'll see if guys are able to plant to the inside and take advantage of all that tack downstairs, or if you just want to keep that momentum up and roll the middle. As we're seeing guys all around the racetrack, Clay's pulling off. Devo, he's running the high side. pretty much everyone committed to that high side. Joseph working with the slider line a little bit, but you see Blake, he had gotten a big run, and then, well, he was going off the racetrack there because warm-ups come to a close, and we get ready for our A&J Custom Creations 305 Sprint Car Showdown here to kick off Hometown Heroes. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Rounding out the field, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Row 7 to the outside, the 817 of Shane Billings. To the inside, the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman. Row 6 to the outside, the 87 of the general, Andy Patton. To the inside, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Row 5 to the outside, the 051 of putt-putt, Clay Christopherson. To the inside, the 531 of Armando Melgoza. Row 4 to the top shelf, the 79 of Dino Dean Reynolds. To the inside, the Desert Demon of the 161, Terry Landis. Row 3 to the outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. To the inside, the 814 of Brad Wade. Row 2 to the top shelf, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. To the inside, Mr. Wednesday Night in the 055, Brian Moore Sr. Row 1 for week number 1 in your 305 Sprint Cars, brought to you by A&J Custom Creations. Starting on the outside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. And starting on the pole, the 05 of Devo, Donovan Ross. Week number 1 here, 25-lap showdown at the Lernerville Speedway. Who's going to bring it home? The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. There's 25 laps to play at the Lernerville Speedway. We're almost 3 wide there in the center, but Brandon Templeton proving you want to be upstairs. He goes and he takes the lead early. Anthony Morano tries to follow, but Randy Shreves up and over, able to come back on the racetrack. No caution, but he's going to tail the field. Oh boy, guys still having trouble here well, no, actually, it was a false alarm. Maybe a little bit of a lag. I thought I saw a guy go gray, but Randy Shreves still at the tail end of this field. Everything fine. Brad Wade tries to make a big swing there at Dean Reynolds. He can't get a run off the corner, and now Clay Christopherson takes a peek. Oh, find a lane here at the Lernerville Speedway. Let's see what they do here as they go into 3. Oh, our leader! Oh, he goes over Brandon Templeton. No, Brandon Templeton up and over. He's going to come to a stop, possibly look for a caution. He gets it. Caution flag waves. Boy, oh boy, tough break here for the driver of the 31, Brandon Templeton. That is not Brandon Templeton. That's Clay Christopherson. This is Brandon Templeton, and, well, we got to change that camera. Here, we're going to have to excuse me here for a second. We've got to rewind, go a little further back. See how this all kicked off. So this is how it all kicked off. We're going to go in the drone camera, don't lie. That's what they like to say. And, Anthony, he left him a little bit of room, but he kind of didn't have to. He had already completed the slide job. Brandon, though, at that point, I tried to stick in it. Couldn't bring it back down on the racetrack. He's got to stay up over the edge here. He gets into the wall hard, and that's going to bring out the caution. Go find the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. He leads the way here now at the Lernerville Speedway. Lights do go off on the racetrack, so we'll go green this time by. Your leader, Anthony Morano, chooses the inside line. I'm a little surprised to see that. Maybe he's afraid of getting a slider thrown his way, or maybe he wants to be the one to throw the slider here as we see the Steve King Foundation pace car pull off. I don't normally go here. We're going to watch the restart from turn 1, and this could get interesting. Andy Patton about to pull out on the racetrack, but he stops. Green flag waves. We're underway here at the Lernerville Speedway. Whoa, Terry Landis gets a little bit loose there, and the 517 of Shane Billings does a wonderful job of keeping off the tail tank there, the 161. But Blake Chapman, welcome to the high side. The 20, he moves on up. Blake Chapman gets run up the racetrack a little bit of contact there with the 517. Oh, it's Devo, Donovan Ross, up and over, no! No, Devo came back out on the racetrack, and I believe a little contact there. And let's see what happened here. So it may have started with... I saw contact there with Anthony. I don't see any. So that was a false alarm by SDK here. This was definitely what we saw here. This was Devo. Bounces off the wall and just didn't have time to get on the brakes. And Brad Waite, man, he pays the ultimate price for that one. Tough break for the 814. Oh, are we 1 to green yet? Let's see here. Of course not. Do I have a TV? Yeah, I do. No, we're not 1 to green yet. This time, if we have another caution, we're gonna pull up a driver. Why not? And I know Blake and Terry are always down there, so I know we're gonna get the 1 to green this time. So I don't want to shorten it up that much. Not really worth with doing it here, as they do double up. But if there's another quick caution here, they're subject to a broadcast interview, so it's all on them. And you know, they've got to decide whether they're going to play nice or whether they're going to be subjected to maybe some questions, some harassment while they're out there in the race car. So it's really up to them. We'll see here. Whatever the drivers decide, as the green flag's high, it's ready to fly. There's 18 to play as we're back underway at the Lernerville Speedway. Dean Reynolds shopping for P2. He makes the move. Can he hold on as Mr. Wednesday Night sticks it to the bottom in 3 and 4? He slides up, shuts the door. Dino's got to hold on to P3. Blake Chapman got the lawnmower out there trimming the grass through 1 and 2. He's going to have to get some of my pay tonight. As Blake doing some work downstairs, just doesn't have a lot of power in that 305. Has to keep that thing as straight as possible. And Blake having a tough time doing that. It's really kicking sideways on him in the center of 1 and 2. But Anthony Morano, 15 to go. He leads the way in the 32. Patrick Spangler, oh, we see a caution flag wave, and not too sure who it may have actually been for Patrick Spangler. This Patrick, he was working his way up through the field. Was following Blake Chapman, actually in front of him there in that 39, but because he doesn't have ShaggyTV on the ride this year, he drove it up and over the edge. He knew that he's got to paint it again anyways. But, you know, it's like, until I get ShaggyTV on the car, I'm just not going to get any podiums in the 305s. And I really do appreciate him standing up. Painter and doing that. Patrick Spangler means a lot. Means a lot, brother. As the lights are still on the pace car, let's go ahead. Let's harass him. I warned you guys. And you know what? Let's harass both of them. I'll just come down to their territory. Crite Sim Racing, fellas, we're live. What's going on?
Talking strategy, brother.
Oh my gosh, well, I better get out of here, but Blake...
No, we're talking, we're playing.
Oh, okay. Well, Blake, when are you going to warn me about you and Patrick playing these games, man? You keep making me figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, I apologize about that, man. That was kind of my plan when I got in here to start in the back, and I guess he had similar ideas tonight.
Well, I'll get out of here real quick, but are we doing it in the 360s too? Are we doing it all night?
I do. Yeah, I plan on it.
All right, well, good luck here, guys. Go get him.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Terry, he fooled me. Tricked me, that dirty dog. Told me they were talking strategy. Pulled a fast one on me. He knows my reflexes are a little slow, so are his. You catch the drift, but we got 14 to play. This time by as we're back underway at the Lernerville Speedway. Whoa, we're 3 wide as we enter the corner for P2. Blake Chapman sends it on the bottom. Dino, the meat and the sandwich, and Mr. Wednesday Night letting it fly upstairs. But now him and Dino possibly reverse rolls. Brian Moore Sr. to the middle. Blake Chapman making up a lot of ground on the bottom is the 20. Welcome to P2. Blake has it at the line. If a caution flies, it's his. Now he's got to set his sights on that 32 with the Magic Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. He's got an 0.8 of a second lead. Anthony Morano looking to flex those muscles here early week 1. We've got 11 laps to play as we go back and take a look here. Terry Landis, he was a little closer, maybe had a little bit of a hiccup there. Patrick maybe got to him a little bit because Patrick has that 39 rolling as the caution flag flies. Brandon Templeton up over the edge in 1 and 2. Or 3 and 4, excuse me, 3 and 4. The software says in 1 and 2 because, well, when we grab the replay, he is in 1 and 2. My apologies. See what happened here is he just enters in a little high, gets that right rear up over the edge. Devo follows him over. We have a synchronized dance. Devo, though, he damaged that right front. That's going to be a tough break for the 05. The 31, he gets to keep on rolling. 4 cautions so far here, 15 laps. We still have 9 to go. Whenever we do get the green flag, is Anthony Morano, your leader out front. Dean Reynolds running around P2, and, well, let's keep the madness going, right? Let's keep the madness going. Where are they? Are they here? Yes, they are. Oh, no, the lights went off on the pace car. Shame on me. All right, well, if there's another one, we're going to the FTM Discord because I yelled at them. They're in a land that isn't locked for Shaggy, and I'm going to go down there, and we will find out what is going through their heads. We get the chance here under the next caution, but the Steve King Foundation pace car rolls off. Anthony Morano rolls that outside. The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. There's 10 to play at the Lernerville Speedway. Blake going downstairs. He's still cutting that grass, man. You'd think it'd be trimmed by now, but Blake, he's a craftsman. He's going to go down there, keep hitting his marks, do what he does best, and that's being consistent. We'll have to see if he can turn it on and get to the inside as he takes the lead in the center of the corner. But Anthony Morano storms back on that top shelf. Blake keeps creeping to the inside. We've got a battle for the lead. 8 laps to go. Blake takes the lead. Anthony takes it back and forth. It's like a heavyweight fight out here. One punch after another. Who can go the distance? There's 7 laps left, and Clay Christopherson putt up and over. Caution flag flies as the 051 ends on his lid. Clay Christopherson looked like he jumped the cushion there in 3 and 4, went over the edge and maybe caught the outside wall. I saw a little bit of it on the top of the screen. As he goes over there pretty much as you're entering turn 4 in the center of the corner. That's people do that, but that's a little more of an awkward spot. Most people are going over on entry, but Clay just straightens the wheel out a little too early, jumps the cushion, and rolls that thing over. So, do I have a good view of this? Do I finally get a good camera view of this? this putt-putt. Yeah, there he goes. There he goes. He's trying to take out my equipment. Oh, the fence. What a lifesaver. What a lifesaver. I would have had to send putt-putt a bill. Got lucky on that one. As we roll around, it's getting down to that time now where, well, you know, I talk. I think we'll go one to go here, so I'm not going to go scream at Anthony for a couple seconds. We should see these lights go off on the pace car. They do. Him and Blake Chapman, man, it is heating up front, turning the wick up. Get the marshmallows out. Because it is hot here. There's going to be 6 laps to go when we go back racing. Can Anthony Morano hold on? Can Blake Chapman steal it? As we rip the top through 3 and 4, the green flag's high. It's ready to fly. We're back underway at the Lernerville Speedway. Blake right back to the inside. That's where he's made his money, getting up through the field. Dean Reynolds has to check up. Doesn't want to get in the back of Mr. Wednesday Night. But Dean Reynolds hard into the wall. He does a 360, and he keeps going. Dean Reynolds pedal to the floor in the 79. Oh, Dino. He's going to say, did you catch that? Did I do this? You're dang right I did. You're dang right I did, Dino. Way to keep that thing hammered and keep rolling. But we got to watch this up front. Blake, he keeps throwing moves down to the bottom. He can't make it work. He's going to go to the top shelf here. See if he can make some of that distance back up. As there's 3 laps to go and a 4/10 of a second, now 5/10 of a second. Half-second lead for the Ant-Man out front. Blake goes to the bottom, takes a peek, can't find it. 2 laps to go here for the 32. Anthony Morano trying to bring this one home as he rolls through 3 and 4. Blake inches close, but the white flag waves. And if the salesman has anything, he's got to do it now, as there's going to be a wreck before the start-finish line. But Anthony Morano got to keep his head on the swivel here. Final time. Checkered flag waves. Anthony Morano brings it home. Mr. Wednesday Night holds on for P3 as Blake Chapman takes that middle step. But boy, that was a close battle between him and the high side banger Patrick Spengler. Coming to the line. I didn't mean to steal the thunder there from Blake's P2. But I was watching the battle between those yellow cars. And let's see here. This is coming to the white flag. So Brad Wade had a little bit of a hiccup. He was in P3. It went over the edge. Patrick went down there, cut the grass in 1 and 2, doing the Blake Chapman line. Brian Moore shut the door in 3 and 4. Patrick tries to give it a run, but just can't get that Training Wheels Racing 39 and inching further and further behind. Mr. Wednesday Night there is Brian Moore Sr. Holds on to that top step of the podium, but heck of a race there. After the gloves were off there in the beginning, lots of cautions, people going up over the edge. But it settled down, and Brian Moore Sr. brings home P3. We'll see if we can find him, if he's made his way on up to the booth. He has. Mr. Wednesday Night, long time no speak, man. It's been a couple weeks. We had that off, and man, you're back. And I'll tell you what, dude. You and Dean, you put on a show. Then you had to find your way back around Brad Wade at the end. And man, you had to hold off Patrick Spengler, dude. You beat some of the best tonight. How good did that P3 feel?
Oh, that feels good. I'll tell you what, Anthony and I were just talking about that, man. He was saying how a modified guy in here with all these sprint car guys around him, man, it's pretty tough. It's nerve-wracking, man. And I was just telling Devo in the Discord there that, man, I'm still shaking, and I only finished third. So that was exciting. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, well, Brian, you got to have some left in the tank, man. We still got, 50 laps to play here in the feature racing. So, I mean, going into the 360s, can you take anything you learned from this 305? Are we going to see guys go to that bottom side late like we saw here tonight, or do you think it's going to be a top shelf, grip it and rip it kind of race?
Well, I think the 360s will be a little different. They're less of a momentum thing, and you might have guys running the top and the bottom throughout the whole race. So yeah, I think it'll be a little different because of the horsepower you get. And the guys ripping the top, yeah, they'll just take off. So.
Well, Brian, I mean, you're still in the yellow, but man, before I let you thank anybody, I noticed a teammate of mine maybe made a paint job for you. And boy, does this new thing look good, man. You liking the new ride?
Doesn't that look good? Aiden did a good job on that. Young Guns creation, man. I told him that I was proud of that, man. That's a good looking car.
Yeah,
sure
man.
Is.
And the first time I see it out, you get to park it on the podium. That's even cooler, dude.
Isn't that, yeah, that's the way it should be, I guess. Get a new paint job, you got to show it off somehow. And I got to give my brother a shout out. Him and Rona kind of helped me with that, with the funds there. So I'm able to do that and a few other things now. So give them a shout out and thank them for all their help and watching the races on and supporting all this stuff. And I got to also holler at A&J Customs. I know they're sponsoring this deal tonight, right? And, you guys, Shaggy, you put on a good show here with this broadcast. And man, it's fun to go back and watch these races.
Man, it's going to be a lot of fun for you to go back and watch this because you and Dino were showcased there for a while. You guys put on quite the show. That was a lot of fun to watch, Brian. I hope you can keep the momentum up here in the 360s, man.
Yeah, and for once, I was trying not to look behind me to see where he was running. I knew somebody was back there, and during cautions, I could see that it was Dino. But when we took off, man, I was trying, because that has bit me too many times watching to see where a guy behind me was trying to run. So I was not doing that tonight. And I think it helped me a little bit.
Well, man, like I said, hell of a job on this P3, Brian. I hope I'm talking to you again here, man. But all right. We'll pull Anthony up here and see what he has to say. But hell of a run, man. Like I say, hopefully I'm talking to you again, brother.
All right, thank you. Jake.
Brian Moore Sr. bringing home P3, and now we're going to bring up
Quick time!
The wrong driver here because Anthony Morano won the race. My apologies. You'll get to hear quick time again. And now we're going to bring up the correct driver who didn't win the race. I'm so used to bringing up Blake Last. Shame on me. That's honest God's truth. It's like the truest Freudian slip I've had probably. But Blake, man, you got close tonight. You're trying to work that bottom, but it just seemed like Brian touched on it a little bit. You needed so much momentum in these cars tonight that when you'd go downstairs, it was just too slow coming off.
Yeah, I probably should have stuck with it for as long as I did, but I got like Dean and Brian running the bottom, and I thought, okay, this is pretty good, and I figured I was pretty good, the first couple laps off of caution. So I tried to stick it down there and maybe make a move, like a slider on him or something. But Anthony, credit to him, he was really good running that top, and I just didn't have enough momentum on the bottom. And to be honest, I'm just really happy to be up here starting in the back, and it was really foggy and really tough to see out there tonight. So I'm just really happy to bring home a second place run.
Yeah, do you think that had something to do with a lot of guys? And some were missing it on entry, Blake, but as well as I do, you can miss it in the center of the corner, but that's normally a little trickier to do when you jump that cushion. It's normally because you straightened it out a little too early. Do you think that was the case why we had so many guys going over the edge there, the dust here tonight?
Yeah. I mean, it was a combination. It was the dust. It was, the lighting that we had. And, it's just really tough to see. I know sometimes even running the bottom, it was like I couldn't tell what was slick and what wasn't, especially in 3 and 4 because it was so dark. And then, you're in the back, so there's a whole bunch of dust too from the cars in front of you. So, it made it a little more challenging tonight, which, was always a little fun factor added in. So, I hopefully starting in the back of the 360s, we won't have to deal with all that.
Yeah, hopefully it gets a little darker because, man, ever since iRacing, well, they made everything darker unless those lights are bright, except the freaking sun. My God, the sun hurts your eyes so bad now. But Blake, congratulations, man. You're able to work from the back, get up here to P2, man. Looking forward to seeing what you can do coming from the back this season. But before you get out of here, man, you know the drill. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the family for watching. I got to thank all the guys down at the Cright Sim Racing team, especially Terry for running with me tonight. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations for, sponsoring this division tonight. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website and don't forget to use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off. I got to thank Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. And, of course, I got to thank everyone involved in making this league run and you for doing the broadcast, Shaggy.
Well, hey, heck of a run, Blake. This won't be the last time I'm talking to you tonight. Give him hell out there, kid.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Blake Chapman, your P2 finisher. And now we get to hear it one more time. There we go. Anthony, I owned up on the broadcast, but, I'll tell you, mic to mic here. I'm so used to that dang kid winning that I'm used to pulling him up last, man. But you held on tonight, and it wasn't easy out there. That top seemed real tricky. We saw leaders going over the edge, man. How were you able to hold on?
I was pretty comfortable with it up top in 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I knew there was really nothing up there, so I wanted no part of it. So we're just sliding up and hitting the little ledge there on the exit of 4, just to avoid going over in 3 and 4, because I did it God knows how many times in warm-ups and everything. So I knew that was a bad idea. So I just I was sweating bullets, man. I know how fast Blake is in these things, and and he had 2 restarts on me. I was like, oh crap, that ain't going to be good. Eventually he'll get me. And I guess those little 305 motors, the momentum and the gearing is the main thing, I guess. So I know if he was going to pass me, he'd have to do it on the bottom. And with the littler motors, he would have a hard time with it.
Yeah, with that in mind, were you telling yourself on the restart, no matter what, I don't care if Blake's going down there. If he finds a way around, so be it. But I just got to keep this thing up top.
Yeah, I mean, if he wanted to try, if he was going to try anything on the first lap there, the restart was critical, trying to change where I was restarting each time, so he couldn't get a read on it. And if he was going to try something that was hopefully would have just enough momentum to get out of 2, where I wouldn't really have to worry about too much and be able to clear him going back into 3.
Well, Anthony, and now this is a 305, but this is 3 sprint car races in a row, okay? Nothing gets by me. You didn't want to race Monday. You show up and you spank everybody there at Knoxville, and now you come out here in the 305s. Do I have to coax you into racing these 360s, or are you already gonna come out and play here?
I'm already on the track.
All right, okay. I just wanted to make sure. But, Anthony, let's see if we can make it 4 for 4, man, before you get out of here. You know the drill, dude. Who you want to thank on that 32 machine?
I got to thank my wife, Sherry, the boys over at FTM, Dean Supercar, Logan at Heimon Lens, Gunnar at Swan Speed Shop, GripHack.com, Expert Installation, Casper Flagstone, ShaggyTV. I think it was A&J Custom Designs or something.
Custom Creations, pretty close. Yeah,
okay.
Pretty close.
And Andy Patton's deal over there. Appreciate that. You for doing the broadcast and running coast to coast.
Well, hey, and tell Dino whenever you go back home, tell him I caught the 360 pedal to the floor. Keep it going live on the broadcast. He'll appreciate it.
All right, I'll let him know.
All right, great run, Anthony.
Thanks a lot, Shaggy.
Anthony Morano bringing it home. And let's see, can I probably won't even be able to find that. Past Dean. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Right here. Look at Dino. 360. Gets a little shot from Randy Shreves. Keep it going. What a move by the 79. And well, with that, we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We still have 2 races coming up. We have the 360 Sprint Cars presented by Flatline Racing Bodies, as well as the 410 Sprint Cars coming last, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. So stick around. We got a lot of racing action here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for part 2 of our Hometown Heroes, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. As the 360 sprint cars get ready to go play. And we only have 12 drivers. So not a whole lot of drivers here for week 1. Normally we see the can kind of open up here, so track not going to age here a lot this evening, as a lot of these guys were in the 305 race. So definitely not what we're really used to here, and hopefully We get that word out there, man. We get people coming in here. I'm telling you, this is a fun playground to come out and mess around in. And if you've got any friends who are new, trying to learn, in fact, I haven't told anyone in here this, but I would like to. And obviously, man, he's not going to be that good. A lot of you don't like me anyway, and he's definitely not even as good as I am. But my little brother is getting back into the iRacing, so hopefully we see another Chapman join the league. It will be my brother, not a relative of Blake, not a long-lost relative, as the high side banger clicks in lap number 1. Let's see what Patrick Spangler does here in that red 39. P2 as the general Andy Patton comes across quick time in the 87. But the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, steals it for a moment as Randy Shreves takes it over in the 56, a 12.99 for the driver of the 5.6, Randy Shreves, quick time. Blake Chapman coming out to play here. His lap number 1, P8. What can Blake do second time around? Slower through sector 1. Blake rips the top shelf, sector 2. What can he do slower? He's going to stay P9. Blake Chapman, he'll miss out on the invert here this evening. Ooh, maybe wants the mechanics to go over that thing again, so he gets it hard into the inside wall, forcing him to take a look at it. But qualifying is complete. Those are your 12 drivers and their times. Well, not their times. This is their times. You had the gaps between their times, so. Brian Moore Sr., Brad Wade, almost identical. We don't get down to the 1,000th. But very, very close lap time between those two. And, well, we get ready to go out and play here for heat race number 1. Here in your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 sprint cars. Rounding out the field on the outside of row 3, the 7 of Bob DeGood. To the inside, the 20 of Blake Chapman. Row 2 to the outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. To the inside, the general in the 87, Andy Patton. Row number 1 for heat race number 1. To the outside, the 814 of Brad Waite. To the inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. My apologies if you heard a little extra noise adjusting the mic position here, because, well, we're going to have time here unless Blake hits that grid button and goes back in the race car, but I don't see him. No, he did. So he did. Blake saved us like I did the other night there on that Monday broadcast, so that would have been what he did. Entered the race car, then hopped back out of it. That's just to avoid that waiting for the driver time, you know, to make sure anybody... It's the virtual world, so sometimes you got to run to the bathroom. Anything can come up, an emergency. You may be a little late to the grid, so it just gives you a little bit of a timer. But this kind of helps take that out of play. We're going to go around one more time here. You're going to hear me crack open an ice cold Mountain Dew. Because I'm telling you, it really is a Mountain Dew. I will drink, don't get me wrong, every now and then, maybe once or twice a year. I am not a big drinker. Did plenty of that in the earlier days. As we roll down the backstretch for the final time. We'll have 6 laps for heat race number 1. Only 5 drivers on the grid. This will set the inside starting rows for the features. The Desert Demon drops the hammer, and there's 6 laps to play. But good jump there for the 814 of Brad Wade on the top shelf. It's Terry Landis. He's got to go hunting early. Randy Shreves to the outside, takes over P3 from the 87 of Andy Patton. And now Terry Landis. Got to see what he can do here. Can he inch back closer to the 814 of Brad Waite? The Yoo-Hoo machine. He needs to add some water to that powder. He's starting to run a little dry down there. The 161. Can he find any moisture? None for the time being. Can't really close on that gap as we're halfway. There's 3 laps to go as the 814 of Brad Waite trying to drive off. Oh, is Randy Shreves, man, getting so close to that corner exit. White flag in the air this time. Terry Landis tries to make his presence known, sends it in, but that allows Randy Shreves to inch closer. And as we roll into 3 for the final time, checkered flag waves. Brad Waite brings home the checkered flag. Terry Landis, Randy Shreves, Andy Patton, Bob DeGood, and Blake Chapman rounds out heat race number 1. Heat race number 2 here. Let's take a look at the starting grid for our 360 sprints. To the outside of row 3, the 05 of Devo, Donovan Ross. To the inside, the 79 of Dino, Dean Reynolds. Row 2 to the outside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. To the inside, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr. Row 1 for heat race number 2, your second and final heat race. To the outside, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. To the inside, the 32 of the Magic Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Morano won your 3:05 sprint car race. Would love to make it 2 for 2 here. We'll have to see what he can do. Remember, swept the sprint car races Monday night. Started off here on a high note, winning the 3:05s. Can he win another one? Can he make it 4 for 4 in the sprint cars to start the season? Patrick Spangler, he's not going to make it easy on him. He's going to go out here and race in this heat race. Blake Chapman, he's up for the challenge. But the high side banger, you saw, suffered some bad fate in that 3:05. And, well, you don't want it to happen again. He's going to go out here, try to get it. Well, you know, I'm saying this pretty early, too. You don't know with Patrick. He could go out here for a lap and then decide to pull off. You never know. And the 79 of Dean Reynolds, that's a new scheme. There for Dino, a white 79. Pretty neat here as the green flag's high. It's ready to fly. There's 6 laps to play in heat race number 2. We're underway. Anthony slides up in front of the high side banger. Patrick cuts down to the inside. He says, I'm the king of Lernerville, baby. He takes the lead over lap number 1. There's 5 to go. Anthony Morano slide job through 1 and 2. The high side banger cuts to the inside. He feeds him one back through 3 and 4. Advantage 39. Oh, Anthony almost goes up and over. He heads on Mr. Wednesday night now. He's thinking about making a run at P2. Here comes Devo. Shot out of a cannon. Goes around Dino on the outside. Cuts to the inside 3 wide. And now Dino, he tries to make a run back. Brian Moore Sr. takes over P2 on the exit of 2. Anthony back to the inside as there's 2 laps to go this time by, coming off of 4. The high side banger. He is off to the races here in Lernerville. Anthony cuts back. He's got the position. Preferred line now in the center. White flag waves as Devo goes over the edge. Donovan Ross. Oh, man, he slips up, goes over early. Final times through corner 3 and 4, the high side banger. He brings home the checkered flag. Anthony Morano, Mr. Wednesday night, and Dino, followed by Donovan Ross and Jeff Barker. As this is the moment in time that I was talking about. We'll run a break here on the 410 because I'll want to go, refresh or just take a little break here, check the interweb, but we're going to stick around here for the warm-up session. We're not going to go anywhere. Keep an eye on what the track's doing. We're actually probably going to sit here for turn 1 most of it. I'll hop around every now and then. I'm going to mute myself, but enjoy the sights and sounds here at the Lernerville Speedway. And keep an eye on that fall-off counter. Your fall-off counter, because I know one of you are doing it for me. You're going to feed me that information later. You see warm-ups come to a close. Blake Chapman, Brad Wade, Anthony Morano, your top 3 out of the 10 drivers that participated here in warm-ups as we get ready for a 12-car feature showdown here at the Lernerville Speedway. Your flatline racing bodies 360 sprint cars. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. Oh, we only have 10 cars. Excuse me. I thought we had 12. No, we do have 12. Why did that not jump correctly? There we go. Very awkward. Super weird. As we take a look, row 6 to the outside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker to the inside, the 20 of the Salesman, Blake Chapman. Row 5 to the outside, the 05 of Devo, Donovan Ross. To the inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row 4 to the outside, the 79 of Dino, Dean Reynolds. To the inside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Row 3 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. To the inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row 2 to the outside, the 32 of the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. To the inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 1 for your flatline racing bodies 360 sprint car feature. To the outside, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. And starting on the pole, the 814 of Brad Wade. The high side banger, he's staying up there. I was worried at first, didn't know if, you can never tell with that guy. He's indecisive. You don't know what he's going to do. Blake, he's committed. He's going to start in the back here, but Patrick, maybe feeling a little iffy about it. He doesn't want the pressure. He wants to start where he earned his spot. Patrick Spangler going to start on the outside of the front row here for tonight's feature. Bad news for the rest of the field. Your money's got to be on that 39. If you haven't, go down, hit that pay window. Always gamble responsibly, but I'm telling you, that 39, he's the man here tonight, I'd think, as we get ready to roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. See the green flag high. It's ready to fly. There's 25 laps to play in the claim, the Lernerville Speedway. We're underway. Brad Wade ripping the outside. Patrick Spangler here. He does his best to stay in tow, but Brad takes advantage. An inside starting spot, throws the slider, gets to the outside lane. And Patrick Spangler, he's got to serve up a dish here. Slide job. Brad Wade trying to counter underneath. Does he send one back? He does. Patrick, he's got to wow off that throttle a little bit. Wind her down. Go right back at it. Another one through 1 and 2. Patrick Spangler. Does he try to hold firm? Does he cut back underneath? He's got to, as there's a slide job. Brad Wade back and forth, back and forth. Man, oh man. 2 heavyweights putting on a show. Here's Anthony Morano. Tries to sneak in, work this 32 into the picture. He's going for 4 sprint car races in a row. Anthony Morano trying to assert his new wing dominance here. Highest driver right now out of everyone on Team Full Throttle Motorsports. Really only 2 of them in here, him and Dino. Normally there's a lot more to accompany him. Speaking of Dino, Dino's working to the outside here of Andy Patton. Randy Shreves here trying to reel back in the top 3. His man, these middle, 2nd and 3rd here. Oh, Brad Wade, he goes up and over, bounces it off the wall. Caution flag flies for the 814. You saw it, man. Just feeling the heat there. Anthony Morano all over the tail tank. And Brad Wade, he drives up over the edge here in turn 4. Now sit and wait for the 814. Did you see Brad? He just gets that right rear up over the edge, sucks him around. And Brad Waite brings out our first caution here, but you get a good view of that A&J Custom Creations. 814. Look at that thing. Pretty race car. But he just wanted some camera time, that's all. Drove it away nice and slow. Gave us a little burnout. Patrick Spangler out front. Blake Chapman trying to work his way up through, but Blake is Blake on pit road? The salesman did go down pit road. He must have got some damage on that 20 machine, so Blake had some bugs he needed to work out of that thing. Hopefully he's still got time here. He's going to have 17 laps when we go back racing, so Blake, he's going to have to get on it quick. Not a lot of time to make up ground in that 20 machine. Especially when he's got his nemesis out front in the 39. Patrick Spangler leading the way. Tearing his way through the winds here in western Pennsylvania. Watch the Steve King Foundation pace car pull off. The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. Patrick drops it down. Anthony, he went a little early. Didn't give Patrick a lot of room, so he ended up getting 8. He got fed a right rear there from Patrick, but nothing intentional. I think when Anthony sees that from this point of view, he'll understand. Dean Reynolds up and over in that white number 79. No caution flag flies for Dino. He's got to keep on rolling as Patrick Spangler bringing the field around. Dino's going to be feeling the heat if he doesn't find an early or another caution. Oh, and we got one brewing. Anthony Morano was shoved in the middle, almost 4 wide there on the entry of 1. Mr. Wednesday Night sneaks out, looking like a dime in there, P2. But boy, oh boy, that was hairy. Randy Shreves cuts back to the middle. Terry Landis on the bottom, 3 wide. He almost runs out of y'all coming off a 2. The Desert Demon shopping downstairs where it's a little cheaper. A lot of room down there, but not the best grip. And Terry looking to find what he can. Just pulling out of the scrap heap. We've got 12 laps to go here at the Lernerville Speedway. Anthony trying to work that 32 up into that final podium spot, but Randy Shreves doing a good job of holding on. And Terry Lane is fighting like hell down there in the basement. As you see Devo, he went up and over, he pulled it back into the pits. He's going to call it a night in that 05. Patrick Spangler, he's gone. Gone like a freight train, gone like yesterday is that 39. He is out front 2.5 seconds as the war rages. Randy Shreves, he takes over the middle step of the podium. But for how long as Mr. Wednesday Night fights back on the high side? Let's go to the Chapman Racing drone camera. Let's watch it from upstairs. Oh, Anthony Morano, he's got to check up. He had a big run coming off at 2. Brian Moore Sr. shut the door. Randy gets a little loose. He tries to go up and slot his way in, but Anthony Morano lays on the horn. No room for the 56 as the 32 storming. Oh, man, storming like D-Day here. Oh, he's storming the beaches on the outside. Anthony Morano, there was no room. He forced his way around that 55. And Anthony Morano, welcome to P2, but not a lot of time. Only 6 laps to play. And Patrick Spangler with a 3-second lead is Randy Shreves. He's a little beat up in that 56. There was some contact. Blake Chapman looking to the outside. Can the salesman find a way to get into the top 5? 5 laps to go. Blake Chapman just does get to the top 5 there at the line, inches ahead of the 513. But now he's got to find a way around the 56 here. He's getting a little congestion traffic on the way home from work and goes to the outside, tries to drive around the median. And Blake Chapman gets to the outside. You got to think he'll have the run here coming off of 4. Give him P4. Patrick Spangler coming up on the lap car, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. And this is where Patrick, if he doesn't have to, doesn't need to put Dino a lap down, but gonna flex those muscles a little bit. The 39 ripping the outside. White flag in the air for the high side banger. Patrick Spangler calls this racetrack home. Final time down the backstretch. Final time through 3 and 4. The 39 wears the checkered flag here at the Lernerville Speedway. Anthony Morano P2 and Mr. Wednesday Night holds off Blake Chapman for his second podium of the night. Good run for a senior there in that 055. Randy Shreves rounds out the top 5. Brian Moore Sr., man, another good run and another exciting final lap that the driver of the 055 involved in. Blake Chapman. See, this is coming to the white flag here. So Blake really reeling him in, and this was a side-by-side battle at the line. Brian just going where he's comfortable. A lot of grip still left in the center, but Blake with a big run off the top. He looks to the bottom in 3 and 4. And this is a terrible view, but right at the line, that's how close it was. Brian Moore Sr. inches ahead of that 20 machine of Blake Chapman. Great run, and these guys, they should be pumped about the show they just put on here. Fantastic race, and we'll see if we can't get a word with the driver of the 055 one more time. Mr. Brian Moore Sr. Well, 2 for 2 here, Mr. Wednesday Night. Man, you got to be feeling good. Another close battle to the line with Blake Chapman, too. My gosh, man, you've had an eventful night here.
That is cool. I can't believe I held him off. But these guys are they're giving me room. So, I appreciate them guys racing me like that. Letting this old guy come in here and get the podiums like this is fun.
Well, what did they say, Brian?
Shout out to Blake for not pushing it too hard there and racing me hard, but racing me clean.
Well, man, what's the old adage, dude? What goes around comes around, and we've seen you giving people a lot of room here. Having a lot of good shows over the last year and a half, and that's bound to come back at you, Brian. And when people see the respect that you're giving out, they're gonna dish some right back, and we get treated to these great shows. And Brian, man, this was not an easy one. It seemed like the outside really tough again, but you had highlighted a little bit in your interview. Maybe guys would go down to the bottom, and we saw you flirting a little bit with the middle and bottom. What was your favorite line here tonight? It seemed like you could do it anywhere.
It seemed like kind of high off the middle in 1 and 2, not quite to the top, but kind of in between the middle and the top. There was a little bit of grip there. And then in 3 and 4, it seemed like if you went in high, you could shoot down off the banking and get a good run. But when there's guys inside of you like that, the only thing you can do is try to stick it on the top and get a good run coming out of 4. And that's what I say. These guys were giving me room to where they knew I was going to come back by them on the top if I hit it right. But, hats off to them for giving me room there. And Shreves, I think he and I went side by side for quite a few laps there. That was fun. And I've been paying more attention to my line and not worried about what's behind me or who's behind me or what they're trying to do. And I think that's helping me out a little bit.
Yeah, man, you can see it's definitely giving you those extra couple of tenths of a second. Not so worried about that rearview mirror, worried about what's out front. And boy, oh boy, Brian, 2 for 2 on podiums tonight. Are we going to see you in the 410s here?
Oh, the 410s running next? Yes, sir. I'll be there for the 410s.
All righty, Brian. Well, you know the drill, man. You're up here quite often. Don't act shy. Before I kick you out of here, man, you got a couple people you want to thank.
I think it's A&J Customs again for sponsoring the show tonight and putting this thing on for us. I want to thank you for
Brian, I got to interrupt you really
broadcasting.
quick because I just noticed something. I don't know if you let Aiden do it. You put my logo on your car, and for that, I appreciate it so much, Brian. I just noticed that on the door. Thank you so much, Brian. That really means a lot to me, man. I really appreciate it.
That was one of my specifications for him. I asked him if he had your logo and to put it on there somewhere because, man, I want to help you and sponsor you a little bit here. So I'm glad you noticed that.
That means
Shaggy.
a lot to me.
Really,
I can't believe I let that slip. I was looking at it even in the Zoom camera in that 305, and I let that get by me until right now. But shame on me. Shame on me.
If you like the sprint car with this paint design, you're going to like the modified, the big block modified, because he did me one of them too. And they're both kind of identical, but man, this paint scheme looks real good on that big block.
Well, man, I appreciate that, and I was rude as hell. I cut you off, so you finish your thank yous before I get you out of here. But that really means a lot to me, Brian. It really does. I appreciate the hell out of that.
Well, good. Thank you, man. And just give Aiden a holler at Young Gun Creations. Anybody wants a cool looking, man, he did this. He did the design and everything, and I just kind of told him what I wanted, and he did the rest. And he found good spots for it, and like you said, that looks pretty cool. I like that design he got for us. And then give my brother Rona a shout out, Rick and Rona, and the guys in Discord at SRC. And man, I'm just having fun here.
Well, man, you can tell.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Hopefully it translates to another podium, Brian. I'm rooting for you, brother.
All right, thank you, man.
Mr. Wednesday night here, 2 for 2 so far. Now we bring up the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Anthony, boy, oh boy, man, you were quick, but it just seemed like you were corked up in that bottle for so long that by the time you could finally get to P2, man, you needed a caution. There was just no way you could trim that down.
Yeah, there was not a chance to help me catching Patrick there. It was too far back, but it's a lot of fun running there. The 3-4 wide, a little sketchy with the track being so slick with, trying to finagle your way through there. But finally got a good enough run on Brian there. I had to pinch him down a little bit coming out of 2 where I was going over the edge. So definitely didn't want to make the contact, but the only way I was going to get around him was to kind of force my hand a little bit. So it's just nothing intentional, just a racing deal trying to get through the field there. And
we were watching it in the drone. We may have had a better view than you did. Yeah, you stuck that thing right to the outside. That was incredible. That's what I was going to ask you about, man.
Didn't have much of a choice on that one.
How close were you to going over down the backstretch? Because it looked like you were fighting it coming out of 2.
It wasn't happy about having the right rear hanging off. That's for sure.
Oh, man. Well, Anthony, it's one of those things. You can't always get the timely caution here. We get the long green flag run to close out, and you got to settle for P2. But, man, oh, man, 3 wins and a P2 to start out the sprint cars here this season. That's a hell of a statement. Great job in that 32, man. You got anybody you want to thank?
I got to thank my wife, Sherry, teammates over here at FTM, Dean Supercar, Logan Highmom Lens, Gunnar at Swan Speed Shop, Castleberry Flagstone, Expert Installation, ShaggyTV, Bowman's Designs or Vertex Graphics. He changed it. I don't even know what it is anymore. Who sponsors the 360s? I have no idea.
Flatline Racing Bodies the rest of the night.
Flatline for sponsoring division, Shaggy for New Broadcast, and everyone at Coast to Coast.
Well, hey, hell of a job, man. I know you mess around with the open setups, but are we going to play with the fixed 410s here at all?
We're doing midgets next.
Okay, I lied to Brian Moore Sr. I thought it was 410s. We got rid of 410s, and I've lied to everyone all night. It is midgets now.
305, 360s, and midgets. We're out here trying to figure something out.
Okay, well, Anthony, thank you for doing my job for me and letting everyone know the truth.
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
All right, dude. I'll be talking to you later.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
And now we bring up the driver of the 39 here, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, who's got his mic muted. So I'm going to say that in the intro. So he clicks the unmute button. There we go. Patrick, man, oh man, I saw you kind of got shook up a little bit in that 305 race. And what'd you tell yourself? You were going to qualify and start at the front of this thing?
No, I haven't raced thoroughbred in forever. And I qualified in the back, and then my son Renegade upstairs needed the bottle, so I missed the heat race. So I had to start in the back of the feature and got up to I think fifth and went off the top. I was able to come back to fourth, so just I was able to hit all the races tonight in the 360s, and that's my favorite track. So a lot of muscle memory on that track.
Oh, okay. See, I was accusing you of doing that because I thought you were doing the Blake Chapman with him. That's
No,
what I thought.
I do that on Mondays. On Wednesdays, a lot harder with the fixed setups. Racing is a lot closer. Usually, some more cautions. Although it's pretty clean tonight. That's just a Monday thing I have right now.
Well, Patrick, I mean, I know we're not going to get you here for the whole season, most likely, but to come out here and win week number 1, I mean, got to feel pretty good. Are we going to try to hit as many of these as we can?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Husets, so that's why I didn't do a lot last season. But yeah, we're gonna try to hit some more, like most of the tracks this season.
Well, Patrick, I just told everyone for the first time because I've been telling them it's 410s all night. Anthony told me it's midgets coming up next. So are you gonna run some midgets out here? Or are you gonna call it quits?
I'm gonna call it quits. I play in this hockey league too, and the game actually started 8:15. So if there was another caution, I was gonna have to leave the 360 race. So I got lucky and went caution free. That's why I was just trying to get to the white flag as quick as I could. So no midgets for me tonight.
All right. Well, next time, just tell me to shut up. You got to go, Patrick. Who you want to thank, man? Get out of here. Go play some hockey.
Just you for the awesome broadcast, Jeff and Jack for stepping up and running C2C and keeping it going. Trembles Racing and Velocity Race Designs for the wrap.
Hey, hell of a job, Patrick, and for everyone out there, his name's in that list too. He's helping this thing keep going. We appreciate you, Patrick. Keep it rolling, man.
Thank you.
Patrick Spangler, he's going to go score some goals here tonight. The man is a hockey addict, and we'll have to see if it translates to his kids here. Maybe we can get his son to drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins one day. We'll never know. But he's got to be talented. We only take the best of the best there in Pittsburgh. You know that, Patrick. So train him hard, train him good. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with the little midget sprint car action here at Lernerville, not 410s. So make sure you tune in, stick around, part 3. We'll be right back.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a
hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Well, we've got the band out here, and oh, there he is. I was wondering where. Okay, you won't see him on your list yet, but the gentleman has arrived. Jack Hitt, defending champion here with the midget sprint cars. Previously sponsored last season by NJ Custom Creations. But we moved around the order a little bit. We have the 305s, but Andy still pumped as ever to run some more midgets here. They're just brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. And we're closing out the program with them this season. But it is going to be good here. We're going to see drivers use that inside. We'll see other ones rip to that top shelf, but I imagine if we see the 31 of B-Temp upstairs, that is where you want to be right now. And we're going to keep an eye on Brandon Templeton. You know, he's always the first guy out there qualifying every time. So you know he's going to be the first guy out here qualifying now. So let's just keep the camera on him. See, he ain't messing around. I'm telling you, I wish I could screen share my software to you guys. Maybe one day I'll actually figure out how to do that. It probably wouldn't be too hard. And I can just show you what I'm looking at. So, you guys, you know, believe me here. As Brandon Templeton rolls around, he takes the green flag here. Lap number 1, the 33 throws it in nice and low. Gets that left front as close as he can to the grass. Going to do the same thing here in 3 and 4. He was purple through sector 1. He's purple through sector 2. That's quick time for the 31 of Brandon Templeton, and there's only a couple guys who could go out here and take the pole from this guy tonight, and no offense, none of them I don't think are out on the, well, no, they're all out on the racetrack. So Terry Landis was one of them. He just came in P3. That was one of the guys who I thought could do it. Blake Chapman now, he's maybe a guy who could do it. We'll have to see. Blake comes around. That was actually his out lap. So this is lap number 1 for the salesman. Blake Chapman gets as close to the inside as he can there through 3 and 4 as well. No purples, all greens for the 20. He's about 2/10 off. Here's the 31 of B-Temp. He has got a 2/10 of a second lead here in qualifying over anybody else. And, well, I can't believe I slept on this guy possibly having a chance at pole. The gentleman, Jack Hitt, your defending champion, but Blake Chapman moves on up to P2. Jack Hitt with a difficult qualifying effort, going to come in P9. It's going to stick out here a little bit probably. Maybe experiment on, hey, what did I do? I got to find something in this 217 because the gentleman not used to being that far down the time charts in qualifying in a midget sprint car. I can tell you that. And that's no shot at him. But he would tell you that. He would be disappointed in that qualifying effort. Let's take a look at the starting grid here. Heat race number 1. 5 drivers in each heat race. Jack Hitt rounding out the field. Row 2 to the outside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. To the inside, the 32 of the Magic Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Row 1 to the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. To the inside, starting on the pole, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Boo. It doesn't matter what I want to do here on Wednesday night. I reset this thing twice in between the break just to see if that would help that overlay, and of course it did not. SDK, guys, if you're out there watching, I've had a subscription for a long time. Tell me what to do. Give me your guidance. As Andy Patton takes that 87, he's going to line up on the inside here. I'm not too sure if we'll pace around twice. We'll park it here. We'll see what the pace truck does. So it is going to pull off here. We're going to go back to the normal old one-lapper. When you got the gentleman Jack Hitt out here, he ain't no stranger. He'll shorten it up. The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. There's 6 laps to play at the Lernerville Speedway. Anthony Morano trying to take that 32 and get low. Try to fish his way under that Jeter 161 of the Judy Special. Terry Landis, he gets bumped twice. He goes to the outside. Brandon Templeton, he cuts the grass. He gets into the side of the gentleman, and Brandon Templeton to the back of the field. He's going to start on the inside of row number 5 for this feature unless something happens up here up in the front. And boy, oh boy, could it. The gentleman takes a peek down low. Jack Hitt trying to get a run on the 32 of Anthony Morano, who's blinking a little bit here with 3 laps to go. Top on the nose here, the gentleman. What can he do here? Inching closer. Inching closer. He's going to send it in here as we ride off that front roll bar. 2 fingers in the air. 2 more trips to go. And I meant Nerf bar there, not roll bar. I don't know if that's necessarily going to help him if he rolls. But the gentleman, man, he's got that thing rolling on the bottom in the 217. Takes the lead with 1 lap to go. Jack Hitt says it doesn't matter where you qualify. It's how you race. Final time through 3 and 4. The gentleman, he sees the checkered flag being waved. He brings home your heat race number 1 win, followed by Anthony Morano, Andy Patton, and Terry Landis, followed by Brandon Templeton, who makes his way through 3 and 4 and takes the checkered flag. The gentleman brings it home here, defending champion. Going to start on the pole for tonight's main. No better way to kick off the new season than was starting on the pole. Gives you a good chance to bring home a checkered flag. But let's take a look at that second and final heat race here for your Flatline Racing Bodies midget sprint cars at the Lernerville Speedway. Scott Rayom in the 444 rounds out the field in P5. Row 2 to the outside, the 20 of the salesman Blake Chapman. To the inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row 1 to the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. To the inside, starting on the pole, the 56 of Randy Shreves. There we go. Now the pace truck's starting to move. I was wondering what we were waiting on. It said everybody was gridded, but iRacing must not have liked something here, but we got it all working out now. So we'll see here. Why? Oh no, Randy Shreve's just kind of lagging back a little bit. Thought maybe I missed an EOL or something as I was looking on my screen, but no, everything okay. And the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off, and we get ready to go play 6 laps here at the Lernerville Speedway. Heat race number 2 is underway. Randy Shreves drops the hammer. Oh, a little bit of contact there in 1 and 2. Blake Chapman snuffed in the middle. Bob DeGood shoved out to the outside, and he falls back to P5 as the salesman goes to work on the bottom. Now takes a peek upstairs. He's got to find a way around the Brewerton Beast in that 513. Speaking of, Jeff Parker, man, he's got it rolling. He takes a peek. He takes a shot at the lead. Randy Shreves on the outside. Give it to Randy at the line, but boy, oh boy, it is going to be close here. Blake Chapman mixing it up in the bottom, thinking about making it 3 wide. We are coming off the corner. Give it to Randy, but man, the war is starting to rage here at the Lernerville Speedway. Jeff Parker couldn't float up, couldn't get in front of the 56. Blake Chapman, he's got the best seat in the house here. Look at the show he's got in front of him as we ride off the nose. Side by side for the lead. Randy Shreves to the outside. The Brewerton Beast to the inside. Jeff Parker takes a peek. He's got it in the center of the corner. Give it to Randy at the line as the white flag flies. Randy Shreves rolls the center through 1 and 2. Good runoff exit, but look at Jeff Parker screaming like a bat out of hell on the inside. Checkered flag waves. Who's going to get it? Give it to Randy Shreves. Jeff Parker P2. Blake Chapman 3rd. Scotty Rayone 4th. And Bob DeGood 5th. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Man, oh, man. If that is any hint at this feature, holy crap. Go refill that drink, pop the popcorn, or actually get the Galens out of the cabinet and get your butt back here. We're going to take a short break on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little over 10 seconds here till we get ready to roll into our Flatline Racing Bodies Midget Sprint Car feature. Brandon Templeton, no surprise, at the top of the charts. Terry Landis, though, P2, the gentleman 3rd. Blake Chapman 4th is B-Temp, after that rough heat race number 1, he's got a long way to go, and the gentleman going to be starting on the pole. I won't spoil it too much, though. Let's give us a chance here to take a peek at that starting lineup. Ten cars here this evening. Row 5 to the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood to the inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row 4 to the outside, the 444 of Scott Rayome to the inside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Row 3 to the outside, the salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20 to the inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row 2 to the outside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker to the inside. In the 32, the Magic Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Row 1 for your midget sprint car feature at the Lernerville Speedway, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. To the outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. And starting on the pole, the 217 of the gentleman, Jack Hitt. Jack Hitt, defending champion for a reason. Can he bring another one home? Can he do it again as the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off? They knew I could get it done in one go-round. They were ready to go here tonight. As the green flag's high, it's ready to fly. There's 25 laps to play in the clay at the Lernerville Speedway. The gentleman goes low in 1 and 2. Can he slide up in front of the 56? Randy Shreves, he doesn't want to. He keeps it low. Like saw that grip down there going down the backstretch. And the gentleman, he's got the pace. He leads the field here after lap number 1. Brandon Templeton started in the back. No problem for the 31 of Brandon Templeton. Up 3. Make it 4 spots as he takes a peek on the 161 of the Desert Demon. Brandon Templeton, he's got that 31 roaring up to P3. Only 2 laps in. Oh, you can hear the dog barking from here. Brandon Templeton, man, oh man, can't keep your eye off this 31. He is quick, and right now he's bottled up. He can't float up. He's got Randy to the outside, and he can't drive it in as deep as he'd like. He's got the Ant-Man right in front of him. What kind of magic can the 31 use? He gets to the inside through the center of 3 and 4. Brandon Templeton to P2. Oh, the 31, he's got the field on alert here. Blake Chapman, like a little scavenger bird here, just picking off what's left, following Brandon Templeton through the field. And the scavenger here, the salesman, moves his way on up to P3. How far can he ride the coattails of the 31? Anthony with a big run off that top shelf. He's trying to come back at Blake, but he takes a peek to the inside, and, well, he's got that Jeter machine. The 161, Terry Landis, tried to make that thing wide, couldn't float up in front. Contact for the lead. Brandon Templeton, he goes around. 2 other cars go. Brandon keeps going. All's fine for the 31. But boy, oh boy, not the same cannot be said here about Blake Chapman and possibly Randy Shreves. Let's see. So we'll see it on the left side of our screen. Brandon dips it down there. It tightens up a little bit, but he's still, I mean, he's in control of that race car. He's floating up a little bit as the 217's coming down. That's just hard racing. Nowhere, though, for the salesman to go. And here he comes up as Randy Shreves. He's trying to avoid it. And the 56, wild ride for Randy Shreves. And man, oh man, just like that, we got all sorts of carnage here at the Lernerville Speedway. And we're not even halfway. Jack Hitt, still your leader. The Ant-Man running P2. Terry Landis hanging on to that 3rd and final podium spot. But for how long? How long can he keep this man behind him? Because Brandon Templeton. I mean, okay, this should be your dead giveaway, all right? When I raced, you know, this was, guys, you didn't care about your helmet. You had a white Simpson helmet. You know, those guys with the fancy helmets, I would say 7 out of 10 times, they sucked, man. You know, they were there to just get people to look at them, show me drivers. But, man, there's just plain white guys. They're ready. They show up. They're ready to go. And that plain white helmet there for Brandon Templeton, that's the dead giveaway. Because there's going to be 17 to play here as we're back underway. The gentleman, he gets him to maybe take a peek a little early. He fires late. Gets the field bottled up behind him, but it allows that Hooters machine to get a good run. And now B-Temp, oh, he tries to fight his way to the inside of the Desert Demon. Move on over Terry Landis. And now he's got to go back to work on Anthony Morano. We saw him work around, but hey, Terry, or Shaggy says, Terry says, Shaggy, don't forget about me, man. I'm fighting back. He's got that middle line rolling, just maybe not so much in 3 and 4, but it fights back strong in 1 and 2. As Terry, he gets that good run there along with Anthony. Can't get to the inside, but the yellow flag waves. Bob DeGood in the 7 machine involved. Let's see if we can rewind it from here and try to catch what happened. So it starts ahead of him, actually. You see the little bit of contact there between Jeff Barker gets a shot there in the back from, I believe that's Scott Rayome. It was. So that's where this thing kicked off. Just Scott Rayome and Barker getting to know each other a little too well there through turn 1 and 2. And well, we're back under caution here for the second time. This Brandon Templeton, he's got to wonder what can he do, man. He's so quick. But these restarts just not helping the driver of the 31 out like he'd hope. And I have to see him put up a big fight here. Is, you know, I'm bored. I take a look down at the FTM Discord. I don't know what you're watching, Sam, but you should be out here racing. Dino, you're still in the Discord. You should be out here racing with Scotty and Anthony. Shame on you. Come out here and have fun. Oh, yeah, and Sam, you know, I can tell you what you don't have on this broadcast. So double shame on you, Sam. Could be watching your teammate here rip around as we get ready to go back racing. Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off the racetrack. And the gentleman maybe going to play a little nicer here on this restart. He does. Doesn't go so late. Helps Anthony Morano out. And we're back underway here. And, you know, I think if you're Jack Hitt, you've got to kind of help out Anthony because he's the only thing between you and this bear in the 31 who is hungry. Brandon Templeton has P2 already at the line. He dips the left sides down there. Oh, Robin's racing here in Sarver, PA. Jack getting a little defensive. That opens the door for the Ant-Man who goes to the top shelf. Jack takes a peek down low. You got the top 4 under a blanket. Blake Chapman, where in the heck did he come from? Welcome to P3 as he dips by the 217. Jack Hitt was leading this race 2 laps ago and has fallen back to 4th place as the Dirt Track Bank 31 machine looks to burn this place down. There are 10 laps to go, but Blake Chapman, he wants to sell you some popcorn, and he's inching closer and closer to that Dirt Track Bank 31 as we come down to 9 to go. Jeff Barker trying to take a peek here under the 87 of Andy Patton as this battles for P6. Andy to the outside. The Brewerton Beast to the inside. Jack Hitt with another little slip up. As he inched closer to the Ant-Man, he had to get on the binders, and that allowed Terry Landis to think about taking one last peek here as we come around 7 laps to go for the salesman. Oh, Brendan Templeton! He gets to the outside wall going down the front stretch. Oh my God, what a save from the 31. He hangs on to it, but that thing is not healthy. The right front's sick. He's got to pull it off the racetrack. And, oh, Brandon Templeton. Man, oh man, not what you want to see, but what you do want to see is a heck of a race here for the final podium position, and that is what you have. Terry Landis on the bottom through 3 and 4 tries to pull up in front of the gentleman here. He's maybe got dreams of a little more. The Jeter machine running high down low, and Terry Landis, what can he do through 3 and 4? The answer's nothing. There's 4 laps to go. He's got to take a big swing here. He takes a huge bite of the apple. He's got P2 through the center, but Anthony Morano storms off that top shelf. 3 laps to go for Blake Chapman. Out front, all alone in that Home Depot looking number 20 machine. But this is the battle. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Terry Landis trying. Willing that 161, trying to use every inch of this racetrack. He's got it at the line. He throws it in there. That Hooters machine, he's trying to get that thing rolling. He's trying to get those Hooters on the podium. But we're down to 1 lap to go here for the salesman, Blake Chapman, who has absolutely had it his way at the Lernerville Speedway. Got to Brandon Templeton. Brandon had a hiccup, got in that outside wall, and Blake Chapman said, see you later. I'm taking the checkered flag at the Lernerville Speedway. Terry Landis P2. Anthony Morano rounds out your podium. The gentleman 4th, and the Brewerton Beast rounds out your top 5. Oh man, we had a hell of a closer here at the Lernerville Speedway, but your heart's got to be shattered for the driver of the 31, Brandon Templeton, who had a quick race car, but just lots of hiccups here tonight and couldn't get it to stick here at the Lernerville Speedway. But someone who did, the salesman, Blake Chapman, congratulations to the driver of the 20 who brings home the week 1 checkered flag here in the midget sprints. And he was in that battle with Jack Hitt last season, so way to solidify himself, come out here, get a win, and now Jack, he's going to be feeling the pressure. Going to have to get that thing together as he doesn't want to let the salesman unwind the leash too far. Let's go back and find this last green flag run here. And we'll find the driver of the 32, Anthony Morano. As there he is. Anthony, man, you know, it seemed like you were battling for P2 at that one point in time, but out of nowhere, man, Blake Chapman and Brandon Templeton, they just seemed like they were so quick tonight. And, well, you know, just give us your thoughts here on the race.
I was out there clueless, so I had no clue what was going on. I think this may be my 5th or 6th midget race ever, so I was just trying them out. By the way, Scotty says hi, and he wasn't going to run these until he found out you were doing a broadcast, so he made sure to come to him because you were doing a broadcast, so I had to tell you.
Well, you tell Scott, I appreciate that. I did shame on the broadcast. Like I peeked over at your Discord. I shamed Dino because I saw he was sitting in there, and I shamed Sam for not only not racing, but I couldn't tell what he's watching, but he's streaming something else. So double shame.
Matt, when you're done with the broadcast, you got to come in there and see what he's doing.
All right. Okay. Sounds
It is
enjoyable.
hysterical. You'll laugh.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. But man, Anthony, you know, I know it's kind of apples to oranges. This is a weird car, and don't cheap out and say the wingless 410 or something. But in your comparison, what's the closest this thing drives to out of something you drive on a regular basis? Throttle
I
control
have no-
wise. Throttle control wise, at least.
Throttle control wise, I mean, it was maybe close to 305. How we ran a 305 feature there, but I mean,
you were
I don't know.
you were that hammered down in these.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Maybe that was my mistake.
Okay,
don't
well,
know.
I don't know. I'll have to ask those other guys. I mean, sometimes I find myself babying this thing, but I'm not any good at it either, so I'm definitely not the person to get advice from.
Yeah, I was out there on a wing and a prayer.
Well, you know, I mean, you did pretty damn good, able to bring home a P3, man, and I know not a lot of guys, but still, man, there are some solid drivers in this field, so to be able to bring home a P3, you got to be happy about that, man. Got anybody you want to thank?
I gotta thank my wife Sherry, boys at FTM, Super Dare Car, High Mom Lens, Swan Speed Shop, DJ Sim Shop, Expert Installation, Castaway Flagstone, ShaggyTV, GripPack.com, Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Division, Shaggy for doing a broadcast, and everyone here at Coast to Coast for putting the show up.
Hey, hell of a job, Anthony. And I had a friend show up at my house literally mid-broadcast. He's in the house staring at me. And I'm going to talk to him real quick, and then I'll hop in that Discord. But I'll be there.
Alrighty, man.
That's the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano, bringing home P3. And now we're going to bring up the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, who, surprise, surprise. Terry, there was some real estate for sale on the bottom, and you bought all of it, man. You really had that thing working towards the end. How'd you like the racetrack tonight? You there, Terry? We got you? He might have his headset muted. Maybe pushing the wrong button. We'll see here. We'll give him some time to go through the mic settings. Discord can be funny sometimes. No, now he goes down there. Let's see. Yeah, he's going down there talking to those guys, so he's going to go see if...
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I got you. There we go. What's going on, Terry?
Hey, I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, the track was racy almost everywhere you wanted to go, really.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and we saw you, Blake did it too, and I know you guys have used that trick sometimes, but boy, oh boy, man, how difficult is it to go down there and trim the grass in 1 and 2 with that left front and not have that thing rotate around on you? I know it helps you turn the car, but boy, oh boy, is it difficult to hold on to.
Yeah, you got to hit it right, you know, and it's always, I always make it, you know, try and do it on purpose sometimes, but
oh yeah, you got to. Yeah, it helps. Yeah. It helps rotate the car exactly, man. You got to use those things that, I mean, will help you out. It's all about manipulating the car any way you can. And dude, you and Blake are two of the best at it on the bottom. So I'm gonna need a teaching session from you guys here.
You better go see him because he's a lot better and smoother at it than I am.
Well, you know, I mean, when you're out front with the clean air, it's, you know, makes it a little easier. But Terry, you're there trying to pick through the scraps as your teammate works on by. We saw you even go to the high side every now and then too, but where were you having most of your success tonight? Down low?
Oh yeah, down low. Coming out 3 and 4, I was gaining so much speed. I think coming out of 4, the low side was the place to be. I thought, and Blake proved it.
Yeah, coming out of 4, yeah, we were watching you. That's where you were really getting your runs on Anthony and stuff. Because, well, as Blake knows, he's a party pooper. You want to lead by that far, we're going to watch the good battle on the track. And that was you guys. So Blake didn't get a lot of time out front tonight, man. We saw a lot of this Yoo-hoo machine that's Jeter machine trying to make moves. And Terry, a P2 to start the year, a 1-2 with you between you and Blake, man. That's got to be really good. Got to feel good, man. Who you want to thank?
Heck yeah, that's exciting as heck. Yeah. You Shag, if you're putting it on, and Flatline Racing Body, because they're the people to see if you want a race car body, and all their admins put this thing together. Craig's off track parts, because you need some of them sometimes. And the guys back KSR, John, Preston, Joe, Galen's Homegrown Popcorn. Use the word cart, and you'll get 15% off. Jeter for letting me do this, and my wife Judy.
Well, Terry, I suck, and I haven't asked anybody this yet tonight. I'm going to have to ask Blake after you, too. But, you know, every now and then we do this, and we're going to rotate tracks this year. Do you like that for Hometown Heroes? Do you wish we'd stay at the same track? What are your thoughts on that? Just to poke the bear a little bit.
I don't know. You can look at it both ways, but I kind of like going to different tracks. It keeps it more fun, you know. Like happened last year. Some guy gets a hold of that track and forget it, the race is over, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of with
Yeah.
you. Keeps it an even playing field. Maybe, we find like the same set of 4 tracks or something and rotate them
Right.
3 times or something. But who knows what the plan is. But Terry, if you keep finishing P2 the rest of the way, that's going to look pretty good in the points. And you might be able to fight that guy I'm going to talk to next. So congratulations. Good run, man. And I can't wait to talk to you later.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you later.
Terry Landis bringing home P2. And now we're going to bring up the man of the hour here, the salesman. But Blake, I'll tell you what, man, probably didn't come the way you thought it was going to. We were watching you. You were reeling in Brandon, so it was definitely going to be a hell of a show, man. But you get to about that 3.5 mark, you get him maybe peeking up in that rearview mirror, and the front stretch wall, comes out and bites him. What are you thinking there when you take over the lead?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, okay, who's the next closest guy to me? And I saw I had quite a bit of a gap there. So from there on out, we were able to take it pretty easy. But yeah, I noticed we were catching Brandon there when we were hitting it good on the bottom, and then he got into the wall there, and that ended his race for him. I don't know if he had damage from earlier when we had contact, but regardless, a win is a win. We'll take it however we can get it.
No, you're exactly right. And, I know you had a couple laps clicked off after then, so it's tough to pull up in that memory bank. But from what I was seeing, okay, obviously bottom of the racetrack, definitely quick. But 1 and 2, it seemed like it was a struggle to stay even. But you're just so much better on the bottom in 3 and 4 that's kind of where you had to be. Did it feel the same driving the race car?
Yeah, I think I think 3 and 4 was really, really good for us, especially getting into 3. But yeah, like you said, getting into 1 was a bit of a challenge, just sticking it down there. But the couple times that I hit it really well, it worked out really, really well for us. And the bottom was definitely the place to be. And shout out Terry, I'm glad he realized that towards the end there. I saw he was running the middle, so really cool to see him move down and then capture the KSR 1-2 podium. Really cool to see.
Yeah, and speaking of Terry, that goes to my next question. He kind of mirrored you a little bit there. We didn't get it this lap, of course, on the slow-mo. Maybe it'll come around next time. But we did get Terry actually doing it in your background, so that was perfect for this question. It seemed like when you were nailing the bottom in 1 and 2, man, same in those 360 sprint cars, you were just so good at cutting the grass there in 1 and 2. How well, or, why do you do that? Is it that little hump in the center of the corner kind of helps the car rotate, because you're off balance a little bit? What's the big trick? Why were you and Terry having so much success down there?
Yeah, usually like in the sprint cars, you get quite a bit of grip coming into the corner and then coming out. It's just right in that middle, it gets pretty slick, which if you hit it just right, you can come in on the grip and then get down into the grass and avoid that slick. And then once you come back up off the grass, you're back into the grip again. So I didn't do a whole lot of that in the midgets. I don't like doing that in these smaller cars because you never know, one bump will take you for a ride. But I really like taking that line in the sprint cars. So, the bottom was really working for us tonight. Hopefully it does the same thing when we come back here again.
Yeah, man, but a little different. They got sick of you dominating at Husett, so we got to go to different racetracks this season. How are we feeling about that format for Hometown Heroes? Do we like going to a different track every week, or did we like the House of Speed there that we were at?
Well, it's no secret I really liked Husett, but these tracks we're going to this season, it's Lernerville, Weedsport, and I-55, if I'm not wrong. And I like all those tracks, so it should be interesting to spice things up a little bit, and hopefully we can get the car count up a little bit more than what it was last season.
Okay. I was pretty sure I'd seen out on the broadcast earlier. I had said that they were going to rotate 4 tracks. I was pretty sure it was rotating, but 3 tracks is even better. Then you get to go to the same place a couple times. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be awesome. But Blake, you know the deal, man. Before we kick you out of here, I warned everybody you had some popcorn to sell.
That's right. Of course, I gotta thank the family for watching, and gotta thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry, for running with me tonight. I gotta thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Gotta thank Steve's Custom Golf Clubs, and gotta thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes. And of course, like you said, I gotta sell some popcorn. Make sure you go over and check out Galen'sGourmetPopcorn.com, and don't forget to use code CART, that's CART, at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. And of course, I gotta thank you for putting this broadcast on, Shaggy.
Well, hey, I know the 360s didn't go your way, man, but hell of a way to kick this thing off. And you know as well as I do, your biggest competition for this one, Jack hit 4th place. So this could be the difference, man, if you guys keep finishing tail or front and nose like you guys have been. So looking forward to watch this the rest of the way. Have a good night here, Blake.
Thanks, you too, Shaggy.
Blake Chapman takes home the checkered flag here at the Lernerville Speedway. And well, I got so into talking to Blake, he had probably parked it in Victory Lane. Hopefully you weren't at a standstill there for too long. I interviewed the guy too long, but the M&M's driver here brings it home. Congratulations to Blake Chapman. That's going to wrap up week 1 here for Hometown Heroes. I do believe, now I told you at the beginning of the show, I have it over here on my computer. Let me take a glance. But yeah, we're rolling into I-55 next week. And then the following week, we're rolling into, Blake Chapman just said it, but I have the memory of a goldfish. So when we take a look at that, we're going into Weed Sport. And I guess it should be, yeah. Okay, then we're back at Lernerville. So it'll be those 3 tracks rotating the rest of the year. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. I'm Zach Chapman with ShaggyTV. Thank you for tuning in. On behalf of all the admins here at the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we thank you. Have a good night.